He was on the brink of proposing to a woman he barely knew when a fleeting image outside the car window froze him in place. A small boy laughing in the sunlight. A boy whose eyes mirrored his own. For 6 years, Ethan never looked back, convinced the past was buried. Yet in that instant, every carefully constructed plan cracked. The child was real. The woman holding him was real. And so was the truth he had ignored. The secret that had silently grown into life while he chased ambition, money, and control. Tonight, nothing would be the same. Ethan Collins always believed life moved in straight lines. One decision led to the next, and hesitation was weakness. As CEO of one of the city's fastest-growing tech companies, he had learned early that emotion could be expensive. Every deal, every choice, every late-night meeting was meticulously calculated. Love, he thought, was acceptable only when it fit neatly into his schedule. That afternoon, Ethan's leather shoes clicked against the polished concrete floor of his office. His mind rehearsed the words he would speak tonight, the ones meant to seal a life he had meticulously designed. On the passenger seat of his sleek black car rested a small velvet boxer ring picked with precision. Chosen not out of doubt, but certainty. Tonight, he would propose. Tonight, he would affirm control. The streets shimmered in late afternoon sunlight as he drove. Ethan's focus was absolute, yet something pulled at the edges of his consciousness. Children's laughter drifted faintly from a nearby park, distant, insignificant, until movement caught his eye. There, at the far edge of the park, stood a woman he thought he had erased from memory. She held a child in her arms, a boy laughing with abandon. A boy who looked startlingly familiar. Ethan's pulse quickened. Denial rose first. It couldn't be him, could it? His own face flashed in memory. The small curve of a brow, the shape of a mouth, the tilt of a head. The boy's laughter twisted into a familiar cadence that he had only known once. The impossible truth settled like a stone in his chest. She had a son. He had a son. And he had never known. The world shifted. Red lights blurred into green. Cars honked, oblivious. Ethan pulled to the side of the road and killed the engine, his hands trembling over the wheel. The velvet box sat untouched, absurdly irrelevant. He stepped out, each stride toward the park, feeling like trespassing into a life he had no right to enter. The air was sharp with the scent of grass, baked goods from a nearby cafe, and the faint hint of autumn leaves. The child's small hand clutched the mother's shoulder as they moved. A rhythm, instinctive and protective. "Lily," he whispered, the name catching in his throat. She looked up, her gaze steady, almost resigned, not the spark of surprise he expected. Time had etched lines around her eyes, but the essence, the quiet, unshakable strength remained. She didn't flinch, didn't step back, only tightened her hold on the boy. His heart pounded with something other than fear, something heavier, sharper. Years of absence, pride, and assumptions crumbled in a heartbeat. He approached slowly, measured, careful not to break the fragile balance. The child noticed him before Lily did. Tilting his head and studying Ethan with a piercing seriousness that both alarmed and captivated him. Ethan knelt slightly, lowering himself to their level without intrusion. "Hello," he said, voice steady despite the surge of emotion inside. The boy didn't speak immediately, only observed. Recognition flickered like a candle, small but undeniable. "Your name?" Ethan asked softly. "Noah," the boy replied. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of that single syllable settle into his soul. Lily's voice broke through his reverie. "He knows you exist. He just doesn't know who you are." There it was, the confirmation, the line between years of ignorance and a sudden, urgent responsibility. Ethan swallowed hard. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. She looked past him toward the playground. "Because when I tried before, you weren't ready to listen. You were already moving ahead without me." Silence stretched between them, thick with the unsaid. In that pause, Ethan understood what control had cost him. Love had never been absent. He had been absent. The park seemed smaller, quieter, as if the world had shrunk to this one point where past and present collided. Ethan took a step closer, then another, careful to respect the space Lily had built around her son. He learned to watch rather than act, to listen rather than command. Noah's small fingers brushed his own during play, tentative, testing the boundaries of trust. Each gesture, each laugh shared, was a thread woven back into a connection long denied. Evenings became lessons in patience. Ethan adjusted his life, restructured priorities, canceled meetings. Rearranged travel plans not because ambition had failed, but because presence demanded attention. Every Saturday became ritual. Trips to the bakery, swings in the park, the careful rhythm of bedtime stories. Noah's world slowly included him, not as an intruder, but as a consistent presence. Lily observed closely, measuring, evaluating. Cautious yet willing to let Ethan occupy this space responsibly. Mistakes came. Ethan still reached for control in moments of uncertainty, rushing to intervene when patience was required. Tears fell. Frustration rose. Each time, Lily corrected him gently, teaching him what success could not: humility, empathy, and restraint. And each time, Ethan learned. Slowly, invisibly, he became more than a visitor. He became part of the rhythm of their lives. Months passed. Autumn leaves turned, winter snow softened streets. And Ethan found himself awake before dawn, anticipating small moments: Noah's sleepy smile, the warmth of Lily's coffee mug in the morning, the quiet sighs of a home filled with life rather than perfection. Responsibility settled on his shoulders, not as burden, but as privilege. He learned to navigate absence and presence, love without expectation, patience without demand. One evening, after bedtime rituals, Lily spoke words that lingered. "I don't want to live in fear anymore. Not fear of being left, and not fear of hoping." Ethan met her eyes, unguarded. "I can't undo the past," he said, "but I can choose every day not to repeat it." They spoke long into the night, not of grand gestures, but of the slow, deliberate work of trust, of patience, of being present. Spring arrived quietly, revealing streets and parks transformed by the passage of time. The snow melted, and with it, years of absence. Saturdays and evenings became shared moments, measured not by efficiency or accomplishment, but by love and attention. Noah's small hands held Ethan's as he learned to swing higher. Bedtime stories became cherished routines. Ethan discovered joy in the mundane: shared breakfasts, snowmen in the park, tiny victories of everyday life. Love, he realized, was not the grand proposal, but the consistent act of showing up, again and again. Ethan's life had been built on control, but now it was defined by patience. Success was no longer measured in quarterly profits or accolades, but in trust earned quietly, daily. The boy who had appeared unexpectedly, who had mirrored his own eyes and laughter, had redefined everything he thought he knew about purpose and achievement. Lily's cautious optimism, Noah's unfiltered curiosity, and the delicate balance they cultivated together became Ethan's new world-to-world demanding presence. Humility and the courage to be imperfect. Winter yielded to spring fully. The city moved around them, indifferent to the transformation inside the small apartment and the park they frequented. Ethan no longer counted visits, days, or hours. He lived them. Evenings became quiet conversations, mornings filled with warmth, snow replaced by blossoms. And one day, watching Noah chase pigeons with abandon, Lily leaned slightly against Ethan's shoulder. No words passed. None were needed. Presence spoke louder than speech. Ethan understood then that life's true wealth was measured not by control, by power, or by ambition, but by love faithfully given, trust patiently earned, and the courage to remain present when the heart demanded more than the mind could plan. He had discovered a life he could not have predicted, a life he had been too blind to see before. And for the first time, he embraced the unknown, the fragile. The real. Do you believe in second chances? Watch as Ethan, a self-made millionaire CEO, confronts the past he thought he left behind and discovers a son he never knew existed. Witness his journey from control and ambition to patience, presence, and love, learning that success is not measured in wealth, but in trust, family, and the courage to show up every day. Will he earn Lily's trust? Can he form a bond with Noah? Dive into this heartfelt story of redemption, family, and the slow, powerful work of truly becoming someone worth loving.